my name is Nathaniel Scott Jr. I'm from Savannah, Georgia. I'm the regimental commander for 3rd Regiment, and it's truly been an honor to be at the United States Military Academy. It's truly been a great experience. I'm ready to get back into the regular Army. I'm branched infantry. I'm going to Fort Benning for IOBC and then to Korea. Look forward to getting back out there with true soldiers. Take care.
Welcome back to another episode of Jacksonville Buzz's Buzz on Veterans. I'm Steve Strum with Colonel Chris Budahas. Having an opportunity to sit here and talk to a gentleman, Nate Scott, who is a life coach, wrote books, but I'm going to start off with an amazing story that you shared about the meaning of life to you during Desert Storm.
Absolutely.
First, gents, thank you both for your service to our great country. Growing up in the Army, I know that it ain't free, so we can do what we do. So thank you both for everything. Let's segue right into that, because you had a defining moment in your life at 19 that has led you to where you are today. Yeah. That is such a cool story. We want to make sure we cover that in our show today.
Well, Steve, first and foremost, thank you guys for having me on. I'm really excited to be able to bring this segment of, if you will, because veterans, we're out here, we're making a difference, and I think that this is part of it. For me, I made a decision to enlist in the Army, and when I did so, I immediately continued to play sports, enrolled in college courses. Through that activity, one of my professors, her husband was a West Pointer. She knew my company commander, and they approached me about the idea of going to West Point. Around that same time, I got a knock on the door from my first sergeant with the notification that we were going to be deployed to serve in Operation Desert Shield. Well, at 19, I find myself in Desert Storm, walking the perimeter during the darkness of night. And in that moment, I said, Lord, if you allow me to make it back, I'll never waste a day of my life. That defined everything moving forward for me. So since 19, that was my compass. And it leads to what I am today and what my company is and what my message is, which is life is rich, which means I live in fullness every day.
So life. Live in fullness every day. Just want to make sure. So it's not just life. It's an acronym that also is about life.
That's right.
Please continue, sir.
Because I realize I'm Christ's heir. So life is rich. It's my company, Life is Rich Global, means I live in fullness every day because I realize I am Christ's heir. And that's the mindset that I bring. That's the focus that I have. It's not a religion. What it is about a belief, the undercurrent that sets everything in motion for me.
That is powerful, man.
Yeah.
All right, Colonel Chris, I know that's going to...
Well, it's a long journey, so what are we kind of scoping into? So how do we get to the book? So you went from this journey in uniform, out of uniform. You did a lot of things in between, and you wrote a couple of books. To me, it sounds like you're trying to get back and give that advice. Life's a long look, so how are you investing in your future? So when you get to our age, being a Storm vet myself, you're in a good position to have flexibility in your life to make decisions, financially that are appropriate to you and your family.
I started thinking about financial independence as a 10th grade in high school.
Wow.
And I
boiled it last week.
Down. And I boiled it down to two areas, business and real estate.
Yeah.
And so when I enlisted in the Army, I knew the importance of putting things in order, started reading, and consequently that led me into, developing a certain mindset. And so I went on to West Point after serving in Desert Storm.
Yeah.
And the week I graduated from West Point, I got introduced to the world of personal growth and development and entrepreneurship. And that forever changed my life.
Yeah.
As I speak around the world, I tell people, take home my West Point degree, take home my MBA from George Washington, financial management, Georgetown.
Yeah.
When I learned to pick up books and go to seminars and be around successful people, that's what laid the foundation for everything else I've done in my life. Yeah. As I left the military, we had that period of time called terminal leave. Yeah. In that window of time, I knew that if I didn't take action right then I wouldn't have a history of income, which was going to be needed in order to buy real estate.
Yeah.
And so I had a window of time. I just read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and also Cash Flow Quadrant. And from that reading, I took away a couple of concepts. Nothing complicated, but something that was life-changing. And one of those things was about where the flow of money comes from, either as an employee, self-employed, business owner, or investor. as well as how money flows. Income to expenses out the window represents the poor flow of money. Income, liability, expenses out the window for the middle class. But the life-changing one was income to asset. To create income, to go asset, income, asset. And through that, pulling that simple concept away, I went forward and did some things financially that allowed me to be in a position to eventually do what I really want to do, which was be that dad that was around.
Yeah.
Which is what brought me to Jacksonville, Florida, sight unseen. Is that I got here to get near Savannah, which is home, and I wanted to be near the water. And the prompting was having my daughter. Having my daughter also put things in place for how I was going to pursue making an impact. When I had her, I said I would commit to sowing into the lives of women, such that if anything ever happened to me, she'd have role models that I'd want her to follow.
Yeah.
So my business, a heavy portion of it is focused on women, primarily for that single reason, because of the gap that I see that women experience in the economy, as well as just the mindset that oftentimes if someone doesn't have a strong male role model with them, they can miss out on opportunities on how to navigate from an emotional standpoint. So emotional intelligence is really key.
That is just a phenomenal story. And wow. So by trade, you've had a lot of different things you've done in the world of entrepreneurship. You now serve others in a coaching and consulting role, which then also leads to these books. And I know we got a story about this one right here.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about what do you do professionally now to help other people and have that give back? Now that you're in a position, the kids are getting older, right? We're all getting older, but now your daughter is getting out of high school.
She graduated. My son graduates in May.
Oh, that's fantastic. Congratulations on that. What are you doing professionally now to help give back to others?
I'm a business coach that focuses on preparing growth-minded professionals, and a growth-minded person is someone that's willing to read a book, as an example, helping growth-minded professionals to prepare for life disruptions. A life disruption can be unemployment, market volatility, retirement, or divorce.
Right.
And I do that in helping people to avoid and prevent financial hardship. That came as a result of first me being a personal trainer. That was my first business.
Okay.
From there, I started teaching people how to apply the habits of physical fitness to their life. I then did my MBA at George Washington, started teaching people how to apply the habits of physical fitness to business. I then did financial planning at Georgetown, started teaching people how to apply the habits of physical fitness to personal finance. The process of which to go do the assessment,
Right.
then make the plan, and then hold one accountable so we can actually execute, because execution is really where it's at. And so today, that's what I'm about, is helping people to navigate those disruptions. And that's one of the things falling back into combat experience. I excel at teaching people how to think versus what to think.
And it is, I guess, in that combat metaphor, it is so much better to deal with the mine or the grenade before it goes off than the pin got pulled, now what do we do?
Right.
So I know you have a special, we were talking offline, I know when we were prepping for the show, there's a special story around this book right here.
Yeah. Life is Rich was something that was birthed. I was at an event speaking, just on the side, having a conversation with someone. And actually, there was a person that was running the event. And I said, man, you're doing a phenomenal job with how you created culture and the energy. I said, but what do you do when the emotional charge runs off? In other words, when people leave here, what's going to be the sticking point for them? And he kind of looked at me kind of perplexed, and I said a few things that in turn caused him to ask me to come to his organization's meeting on the Monday night and do a conference call with them. The response was so great that it led him to ask me to come back the next week.
That's right.
And as a result of those back-to-back, it gave me evidence that there was a market out there that needed to and wanted to hear the message in which I was delivering. And it really was a message that simply said that entrepreneurship must be the foundation of any wealth-building plan. And one of the things I wrote in the book there, I said that if you're reading this in 2013, the good news is that you've got at least 10 years to do something about your financial plan, meaning to be in a position to fund your plan. Unfortunately, though, most people will wait too long. Well, 2013 plus 10 is 2023. And so now we're here. We know what the economy looks like. We know the situation where people are losing jobs. And I hate seeing people stuck like they had a blast, but they don't know what to do. And that's why I'm really leaning in. Life is Rich is a principle-centered, biblically based leadership program focused on personal growth and entrepreneurship. Every chapter begins with scripture, but then I say, so what? How do you take God's word and apply it on a daily basis? I cover leadership is the answer, the cash flow danger. It happened to me. Become an entrepreneur, choosing the right entity, raising capital, asset protection, protecting your financial privacy, reducing your taxes, retirement planning, residual income retirement planning, estate planning, and life is rich. But it's about how to think versus what to think, because that's what I do with my soldiers.
Yeah. Well, and I think probably the thing, if you think about this, taking it out, whether it's command in the battlefield, whether it's command in your personal business, you sound like you are, correct me if I'm wrong, a first in many ways in your family. You are the first person to have a level of success, the first person to be an entrepreneur. I understand this. My mother was from Croatia. They immigrated here because of ethnic cleansing. I am the first in my family. My father was a firefighter. My brother's in the Army, right? I'm the first person to go into that step of entrepreneurial. I think the thing that I hear when you're talking to me, I know we're talking to them, but when we're talking right here, it's like, hey, I'm not alone. Right, I've dealt with cash flow issues. I've dealt with, 2020 as in the stock market universe, it was a little weird year, right? We've dealt with a lot of these things, and I think the message that I hear that we're hopefully communicating to our audience is, you're not alone. There's a plan.
Yep.
There is a level of divinity in the plan, but it's not about doing the Bible thump.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right. And the fifth piece of that, there's people out there that are willing to help coach you and bring you along.
That's right.
You don't have to do it by yourself.
That's right.
I tell them to follow me is never your call.
There you go.
That's really the big thing. I'm saying, hey, listen.
Yeah.
But you got to be willing to invest in yourself. The main things is me saying that, number one, you are the asset. You are the asset. It's not out. It's not external. It's actually in you. It's buried within you.
Yeah.
The next thing is alignment before assignment. Alignment before assignment. Third is how to think versus what to think.
Right.
Those three things, if one would just keep them on the tips of their tongue and just speak those, will be empowering. And then you echo that with, I live in fullness every day because I realize I'm Christ's heir. Well, if you realize that, then that means you already understand that it's already set aside for you. No good parent is going to release the keys to the car unless you can drive. So that means the only thing you left to do is grow your capacity.
Yeah.
So my message is what I'm saying, just commit to growth.
Having
a growth mindset.
Right. What a powerful message.
Wow. Thank you.
Chris, what do you got, man? I mean,
I'm good.
I think it is all on the table.
I'm fired up.
In all sincerity,
That's awesome.
Super awesome to have you on the show. Your message is astounding. We're going to put your links and we're going to put your books and all the stuff on our website on Daily News Network. They can go and click and push and buttons and connect with you about coaching, about the book, about your life story. I mean, there's so much stuff we can talk about. We can have you back on about, like, hey, let's talk about what happened 20 years ago when you first got here. And to commend you about being the father that's there.
Yeah.
Sir, thank you for your service, Colonel Chris, as always. Guys, thanks so much for joining us on the Buzz on Veterans. If you like us, share us. Remember, live with gratitude.
So the defining moment for me in deciding to hire a coach was when I did the 7 questions in 7 minutes. It completely opened my eyes. I'd never given much thought to my retirement. I figured I would kind of deal with it when I got there, kind of like everybody else does. Because I think that's what everybody else does. I have my 401k and there's Social Security, which I know isn't much anymore, but still, that's what I figured. And so when I ran those numbers with Nate and saw what I would need to live comfortably, it was kind of alarming. It was scary and not exciting at all. So that was the defining moment.
My husband and I are looking to retire in the next 7 years, and I was hoping to confirm that we are on the right track. Although I had started a retirement fund at the age of 23 as a young single woman, I had never had a budget and always just sort of winged it financially. When I came across the opportunity to take the Financial Peace University course with Nate Scott, I was about to have 6 weeks off from my full-time job as an oncology nurse following some surgery, so I decided to commit to the 9-lesson class. What I appreciate the most about the class is that although I am across the country from Nate and have a 3-hour time difference, the fact that the class was online, live, via Zoom, made it possible for me to attend. The class was a small group of folks with different goals and in different stages of life, but we were all in this together and were as interested in helping each other as Nate so clearly was interested in helping
The
us.
value of working with Nate within the first 10 minutes of speaking with him. He opened my eyes just that quickly into what my situation was and where I was headed if I didn't make a change. The coaching sessions that I've had with him have really helped me to think differently. And when he's asking me a series of questions, if I'm stuck or if I don't get it, if I don't figure it out, he's patient with me. He kind of figures out a way to ask different questions to get me to open my mind and to figure the answer out for myself, which is great. Also, when that light bulb goes off, when you realize where you're thinking differently or where you're stuck in your thoughts or where your belief is limited, and you are able to overcome that belief or that thought process and change it, it's a pretty great feeling. And that's where you see the value and the benefit, is because if you're not able to get there on your own, you have somebody that's able to guide you through it. That's, like I said, it's a great feeling.
Hi, Nate Scott. As I sit here at the airport on the 17th, I am reflecting on the good fortune I had of meeting you 1 year ago today. We have had such experiences. You have coached my team on luxury branding. We have done podcasts together, radio shows together, women's conferences together. We've shared experiences. We have shared our knowledge. We have grown together. And I just cannot tell you how fortunate I feel. So I just want to say thank you for all you have done for me. I am your biggest champion.
What to think. He doesn't tell you what to do. He helps you walk through the process of figuring your own self out, which is huge. If I swear, if every teacher, mentor, everyone that's ever tried to teach me something in my life was like this, and just did this one thing, it would just sped my learning curve in so many ways. Faster. So Nate just completely broke down some concepts that I was able to internalize really quickly, which is really nice. And he just basically reinforced that whole idea that I'm the asset, that my name, my character online, because I'm an online marketer, it's what I do, is very important, and not to basically to give people lots of value and be real and be.
How you doing? This is Ken Brown here. And after 25 years in business, I figured out to listen to this. Success is not accidental. Success is absolutely habitual. And thinking about that, I remember when I was retiring from my McDonald's franchises and I was creating a new business, and my good friend Nate Scott had started this thing called the Daily Habit Call. Listen to me. It was a Daily Habit Call. And he's called me up and said, Ken, I want you to get on this call, connect with me, lock arms with me. And so I did. We would get up in the morning at 5 a.m. in the morning. Listen to me. 5 a.m. in the morning for 365 days. I'm telling you that the level of commitment that I've seen, the level of dedication that I've seen with Nate Scott, is unprecedented. He's a man of commitment, a man of integrity, and let me tell you something, I don't think he even know this, that guess what? That I was going through transitioning my business, and guess what? The fact that I was on that Daily Habit Call for 1 year with Nate, he don't know it, but it helped me explode my new business.
$7,000 for a program that I thought would do exactly that, talk to me, guide me, help correct my thinking, and it wasn't. It was clearly, do this, do that, we'll talk to you next week. Nate is so different. He is an encourager. He is an encourager of helping us to think and to learn. And
I hired Nate Scott because, first of all, when I got his book and read it, it was like revolutionary. And some of the things that I read in his book, I had never heard anyone talk about. The 7 questions and running my numbers, that was an eye-opener. And I truly believe that was one of the things that made me take a look at Mr. Nate Scott.
And literally after day 1 of the session, we immediately put some of those principles and practices in place and saw an immediate difference.
I thought Nate was a very good listener, very patient, and first of all, he forced an answer to his questions. but then he would give you answers to the questions that you would ask or to the experience that you would present. So I thought he was very good at being consistently committed to the sessions, and then being consistent with regard to leading the group and direct the objectives of the group. Some of the answers that were given weren't necessarily given to one individual. That's where the group really added to the experience, because you saw responses or answers for a variety of
If their plan is going to get them there, then fine. But most people I know, their path that they're on right now, it has them going nowhere near that goal or where they want to be. And so that's going to be where you're going to have to make that decision on whether or not you're going to keep doing things the way you're doing and expecting no change, or if you want to actually do something that's going to give you an opportunity to make that change in your life.